Nitsénhaienhs Kahsennenhawe Deer and Ross Montour attended the J Treaty Border Alliance meetings last week in Ottawa, where representatives from the Iroquois Caucus and other Indigenous delegates from both sides of the border met with Canadian cabinet ministers, members of parliament from across the country, and representatives from Canada Border Services Agency. The discussions focused on solutions toward the ongoing issues experienced by Indigenous people when crossing the border, a right that is not always recognized by the Canadian government and its associated agencies.
So the J Treaty Border Alliance brings together communities on both sides of the border, tribal and First Nation, who have issues with border crossing. And specifically because Canada never put legislation forward that recognizes the J Treaty, whereas the United States did in 1952. So for us, we're able to go live, work, go to school in the United States, and using the J Treaty as that mechanism, whereas US-born Nitsénhaienhs people don't have the same kind of benefit, I'll say, reciprocity in coming to Canada. So one of the primary objectives, I guess, in going in meeting, because it was 3 days of meetings. So Monday was nonstop meeting with MPs, and because all of the different First Nations who came from this side of the border, I'll say, met with MPs that were kind of in their riding or their area to basically educate them about some of the issues that we're facing when it comes to border crossing. And then on Tuesday, we had a chance to meet with 3 ministers. It was slated to be 4. Unfortunately, Sean Fraser, who is the Minister for Immigrants, Refugees and Citizenship, he got caught up. But we did meet up with Hadu, Miller, and Minister Mendocino, who's the Minister of Public Safety. So basically what we got them to commit to, which is, in my opinion, some of the US tribal ones are like, how do you even pull off having a meeting with ministers? This is pretty profound, right? But we got them to commit to a high-level political table or a committee that addresses Indigenous border crossing issues. So the next steps, I guess, will be we are going to have another summit. It's going to be hosted by the Walpole Island First Nation, so near Windsor, Ontario. They're targeting the end of June. And then what we'll do is come up with a plan, strategy, and objectives to getting some of these border crossing issues I guess, to the table with the government. So in terms of those that participated, at least from Iroquois Caucus communities, right? So myself and Nitsénhaienhs Ross Montour were present from Kahnawake, Victor Bonspiel, the Grand Chief of Kahnawake. You had Abram Benedict and a couple of his council members from Aguazasne, Grand Chief Don Maracle from Tyendinaga, and then Grand Chief Mark Hill and a couple of representatives from Six Nations. And I have to mention Ava Hill, although retired, she coordinated this whole event over the 3 days, and because she knows all the MPs, was able to get the ministers to, participate in person. So hats off to Ava for her coordination on this. And then there was also representatives from Garden Lake First Nation, Walpole Island, and then again, the tribal representatives too from the United States. So the Kootenai of Idaho, Seneca. So it was nice to see, and at the end of the day, we felt really good about the vibe and the kind of reception that we received from these MPs and ministers, that there was definitely some genuineness there in terms of them wanting to help us with this cause and when it comes to our border crossing rights. We talked about what our objectives are in terms of, number one, at least establishing this table where we can continue to address the issue of border crossing. And a lot of times too, it's operational on the ground, right? Our people experience still, whether it's that they're holding them up, they don't want to recognize the cards, maybe it's even just some racism. So having the CBSA, who was also present on Wednesday, and let them hear some of our grievances, what some of the issues are, wanting to push for sensitivity training and, better relations with the communities. Basically, the message that I personally conveyed, and like you said, because I had been on the council for 12 years now and have been in these sessions, we already commissioned studies, and there was Fred Caron was the Minister's Special Representative a few years ago who went community to community to develop a report. We have everything now. So now it's about action and getting resolution. And if it's creating legislation or policies that really help us have the ability to exercise our right to cross that border, then that's what we need, is the action now, no more words.